It began as an ordinary trip, planned, budgeted, and eagerly anticipated. The Thompson family had always made a tradition of summer hiking trips, each year selecting a different national park. This year, it was Eagles Hollow National Park, tucked away in the lush forests of the Pacific Northwest, a place known for its sweeping views, deep ravines, and nearly untouched wilderness. But what was meant to be a memory-making adventure would become the beginning of a living nightmare, one that would haunt the Thompsons and investigators for years to come. It was early August. The morning air was cool but inviting as the family, David, his wife Maria, their 17-year-old daughter Lily, and 10-year-old son Ethan, stepped out of their rented cabin and into the emerald arms of the forest. David, a nature enthusiast, had marked a trail on his map the night before. It was a lesser-known route, but a ranger had assured him it was safe and well-traveled, just quieter than the others. That was exactly what David wanted: privacy and serenity. Maria carried the snacks and water, Lily brought her journal and sketch pad, and Ethan, bright-eyed and full of energy, bounced excitedly with his toy compass hanging from a string around his neck. Everything seemed perfect. The family took photos at the trailhead, unaware it would be the last image ever taken with all four of them together. Pause for dramatic effect. But before we go further, if you're already pulled in by this chilling mystery, hit like and subscribe to Chilling Chapter. What you're about to hear will make you think twice before your next walk in the woods. They hiked for hours, laughing, snacking, and admiring the natural beauty around them. Birds chirped from treetops. The sound of distant waterfalls added rhythm to their journey. Even Maria, usually uneasy in thick wilderness, felt unusually calm. The forest had a presence, silent, almost watchful, but not threatening. At least, not yet. About 3 hours in, they reached a fork in the trail. David pulled out the map, but something strange happened. The left trail clearly matched what the ranger had mentioned, a path called Willow Loop. But the right trail wasn't on the map. There were no signs, no markers, nothing. Just a narrow, winding path deeper into the forest, almost covered by branches and undergrowth. "It's not on here," David said, puzzled. But Ethan, always the explorer, pointed to the hidden path and said, "Let's go that way. Maybe it's a secret trail." Maria was hesitant. "If it's not on the map, we shouldn't." But David's curiosity got the better of him. "We'll go in just a little bit. If it gets weird or too narrow, we turn back." Lily agreed to mark the trees with chalk so they could retrace their steps if needed. They made sure phones were charged and GPS was working. Those signals were already growing weak. So they went in, and everything changed. The temperature dropped slightly. The birdsong faded. The trees became thicker, their trunks older, gnarled, as if leaning inward like watchers. The sunlight dimmed, though it was only midday. Yet something compelled them forward, a strange, dreamlike pull that none of them could explain. Then came the moment. It took only seconds. David was up front, Maria close behind. Lily had stopped to take a sketch of a peculiar twisted tree, and Ethan was right behind her. Until he wasn't. She turned, expecting him to be fiddling with his compass or kicking a rock, but he was gone. No footsteps, no rustling, no sound. Gone. At first, Lily thought he was playing a prank. "Ethan? This isn't funny." No response. Maria turned around at the sound of her voice. "What's wrong?" "Ethan, he was right here. He was right here." They called his name. Again and again. David ran back down the path. Lily retraced her steps, her chalk marks now barely visible. The forest suddenly looked different, denser, unfamiliar, as if shifting subtly while no one watched. Minutes passed, then an hour, then 2. Still no Ethan. Their phones no longer had signal. GPS refused to load. Panic set in. By sunset, they finally found a weak signal and contacted park services. Within hours, rangers and search and rescue teams swarmed the area. But there was something deeply unsettling about their reactions. One ranger, An older man named Rick stood unusually still when David showed him where they had turned off the map trail. "You say you went that way?" he asked quietly. "Yes," David replied, pointing. "It's unmarked, but it was there." Rick didn't speak for a moment. Then, "That trail shouldn't be there anymore." "What do you mean, anymore?" Maria demanded. Rick looked uneasy, but said nothing more. Only that they'd search, that they'd bring dogs and helicopters and infrared, that they'd try. But his eyes said something else. They stayed at the cabin that night, though none of them slept. Lily sat on the porch, staring into the woods, whispering Ethan's name. Then, just past 3 a.m., she heard it. A faint giggle, her brother's giggle, coming from the woods. She bolted to her feet and ran to the edge of the trees, heart pounding. "Ethan? Ethan, is that you?" Silence. Then another giggle. Closer. But the shadows moved strangely. The trees seemed to lean in, and her flashlight dimmed for a moment without explanation. She screamed for her parents. They came running. But by then, the sound was gone. They searched all night with the rangers. No footprints. No broken branches. Nothing. It was as if Ethan had never been there at all. Except for one thing. The next morning, just as the sun rose, they found Ethan's toy compass, placed neatly at the base of that twisted tree Lily had stopped to sketch, its needle spinning wildly. The discovery of Ethan's toy compass beneath the twisted tree sent shockwaves through the Thompson family. It hadn't been there the day before. Lily was certain. She had examined that very tree while sketching. It was empty then. And now? The compass sat neatly in the dirt, perfectly centered, as if placed by unseen hands. Its needle didn't point north. It spun aimlessly, like a child's toy rather than a tool of navigation. Maria picked it up slowly, holding it like a sacred object, as if the warmth of Ethan's hands still lingered on its plastic casing. Her fingers trembled. "This isn't right," she whispered. "He would never take this off." David crouched beside her. Maybe he dropped it. Maybe he found water, or wandered back onto a different trail. "He wouldn't," Maria interrupted sharply. "Not Ethan. You know how he is. He sticks close. He never." Her voice broke. She couldn't finish the sentence. The search teams expanded their perimeter. Drones buzzed overhead. Volunteers scoured nearby trails, shouting Ethan's name until their voices cracked. But with each hour, hope thinned like mist at dawn. That night, a new ranger arrived. She was younger than the others, mid-30s, calm, composed. Her name was Ava Kincaid. She approached Lily after dinner, sitting quietly beside her on the wooden cabin step. "I read your sketchbook," Ava said gently. "You've got an eye for the forest." Lily blinked, caught off guard. "You looked through my things?" "I was searching for clues," Ava replied. "And I saw your drawing. Of that tree. You captured it perfectly." Lily hesitated. "There's something wrong with that tree." Ava didn't argue. Instead, she asked, "Did you hear anything strange before Ethan vanished?" Lily's breath hitched. No footsteps. No scream. He was there, and then he wasn't. Ava nodded slowly. "Have you ever heard of thin places?" Lily frowned. "What do you mean?" "Some people believe," Ava said, her voice barely above a whisper. "There are places in the world where the veil between realities wears thin, where things slip through. People, sounds, shadows, memories." "You're saying Ethan slipped into another reality?" "I'm not saying that," Ava replied. "But the forest here, it's ancient, deeper than maps, older than memory. There are parts of it that don't follow the same rules. Trails that move,